Here we go. Gotta get adjusted. Okay.
Me too. Me too. Me too. So welcome back, everyone. Woohoo! We've got
We're back in the house.
We've got Michael Henderson here. He is the owner of Tapestry Insurance Group. We're live on Facebook. We've been live the whole time, but on those 15 minutes I forget to even say it. But we are live on Facebook. Michael Henderson is in the house. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself. Today you said we're going to talk about Medicare 101.
Yes. So, well, we do Medicare. We help people interpret the Medicare maze when they become eligible. So, we cover the whole Southwest, and we haven't talked about the basics of Medicare for a while. So maybe
what are the basics of Medicare?
Medicare, when you get the card from Medicare, from the government, original Medicare, there's Part A and Part B. Part A is your hospital, okay? And you're going to get that automatically when you turn 65 or if you've been disabled for 24 months. That, if you've paid into Medicare through working your life, that's going to come automatically to you. Part B is your doctor's office, all your outpatient stuff. That is going to be something that it's optional. You don't have to take it. So, for instance, people that aren't retiring yet, if they're still working at a large company or somebody that has employer group benefits, they may not take Medicare Part B yet because there is a small cost to it. It's $148 a month now for this year.
Right. People think Medicare is free.
Yep.
And it's not. You paid into it.
You paid in, you get a great discount. Part A is zero, but your Part B comes with a small cost.
Right.
But then Medicare is basically an old school 80-20 plan. People think that once they get Medicare, I'm covered. And you're covered decently, but it's not great. It's an 80-20 plan after deductibles. So what we do is help people navigate that, figure out what's the best course of action if they need some additional coverages. Many of the coverages don't even have a premium attached to them. So there's some great additional coverages that we help people with.
What I love about Michael is that you truly are the seniors advocate.
That's all we do.
Take everyone's phone call personally, and even though you have agents that help throughout the entire Southwest, you like to talk to everyone individually yourself first to find out a little bit about you. And you know what? That's what all of this is about first, too, is finding out a little bit about them, and then you help them find out what the right person for their area would be, because each individual, there's so many, and you could tell them, how many are there? Like in each individual county, there's so much to know.
Tons of options. Here in Maricopa County, we have 57 or so odd different Medicare Advantage plans, just the Advantage plans. Then there's prescription drug plans, there's supplements, all in addition to that. So there's lots of confusing information out there. And unfortunately, when somebody is turning 65, starting about 6 months to a year out, they start getting mail like crazy.
I don't know. I'm 62 and I'm getting it. They think I'm 65.
And it's not uncommon to walk into somebody's home and you'll see if they saved it, you'll see a foot-high stack of mail on their countertop, just Medicare information. All the insurance carriers, they're getting stuff from the government, they're getting advertisements, and it just adds up. And it's very
on television
confusing.
Everywhere. It's all there, and it is.
And that's
confusing.
not to mention the television.
We're going to talk about that in a minute because I want you to know Joe Namath doesn't call back and talk to you. Right?
He won't answer your calls.
He doesn't answer your calls. But we want people to understand too something else. First of all, this is a free service to you out there, right?
Yes, that's important. We actually get paid for our time from the carriers. We represent most of the carriers in the states we are in, and when you pick a plan to go with, we're reimbursed from the carrier. So we are able to pay our bills, but our clients aren't paying them.
Right. And so for you, you're getting great information to arm you with good information so that you can make good decisions.
Yep.
I think that's what this is all about too, is understanding what your needs are. And when it comes to medicine, and I know us old folks, we have a few medicines that we're taking. And you can even be on, let's say, insulin. You talked about this before. Insulin has a jillion different types of names, so everything is different. You can't do it on your own.
Yeah, there's, when we compare prescription drug plans for somebody, we take all the data, we take their prescriptions, we take the amounts that they're supposed to take, and we look at all the different plans to see what plan is going to cover those at the best rates, right? And then if they're looking at Advantage plans, we make sure that they're doctors or doctors that they want. We're looking to see if they're in network. So there's a lot of comparisons that go into it. Not to mention just filtering through all the plans, right? There's tons of them.
Yeah, you don't even want to bother. So have somebody else that's going to do this for you. It's a free consultation. Also, we want you to understand too, when I give out this phone number and you call him, please leave a message. This is something else.
Yeah, Medicare is very highly governed to eliminate predatory practices against seniors, which is a good thing. The downside is when somebody calls and doesn't leave a message, I can't call them back without a permission to call. So call me, leave a message. Plus, I do get a lot of phone calls. I'm with people a lot of times, so leave a message. I'll call you back.
And the phone number is 602-541-7656. Toll free. It's 800-506-8810. He does service the entire Southwest. This is a free service to you, the families. You can also check him out on Tapestry Insurance Group.com. Over the weekend, Friday, you had that event. We did your first outside event that you hadn't had one for a year. How was it?
First event in over a year.
Woohoo!
Wow. Yeah, it was out Sun City West. We had a great turnout. There was a little car show out there and a merchant event. We at our offices we do free service like laminating people's Medicare cards and things like that. And we had a lot of people come by and talk to us, and it's all about information. We didn't sell anybody any insurance or anything like that. It was all about information, and just like we do every day. We did give away ice cream bars.
But that was a good thing to do. And I love the idea of laminating the cards because now everybody gets these cards and you put them in your wallet and they become it's crazy the way they look. It's like, here's my ID and it looks terrible. Yeah. I'm not a derelict, I promise. But anyway, so great idea. And I lost my train of thought of what I was going to say. But also for you, what you do is you make a complicated subject easy and also fun. That's something that you're all about.
Yeah, we try. It's confusing. It's a big deal for people. When we look at insurance, for the most part, people haven't really chosen a medical insurance during their lifetimes. If they've worked for a company, they just pick what's available from that company. Maybe one or two plans available. They base that on the cost that's coming out of their paycheck, right? I mean, we all have done it. When they get into Medicare, this is the first time they're getting all this information and they've never waded through it before. So not only is Medicare confusing, but if you haven't had any experience with just health insurance to begin with, it's even worse.
And I tell you right now, and he's probably listening, but my ex-husband, if he thinks he can do everything, sure. Right? Hey, and I know I can right? And I go up on Google, Dr. Google, and I can figure it out myself. No, he wasn't able to do that. And I was listening to him one day talk. A bunch of old people were sitting around a table talking about that they're going to turn Medicare. They're going to get their cards soon. They were all excited about it. Mm-hmm. And I simply said, you might want to make sure that you talk to somebody. Don't just ask this guy because, he is not the same as you, even in your own family.
Yeah, and that's the beautiful thing about Medicare. Again, we're used to plans where husband and wife have to be on the same plan if it's from an employer or something like that. With Medicare, we get to tailor the plan to the individual. So somebody that has diabetes is going to be on a different plan than somebody that only sees the doctor once a year for their checkups or something like that. And so we're going to fit that, even if you're in the same household, husband and wife, whatever it might be. We're going to make sure that you each are on the plan that fits for you.
It just makes sense to give him a call. It's a free consultation. Leave a message because if you don't leave a message, he can't call you back. That's just the rules of Medicare.
Rules of engagement.
And so the phone number to call is 602-541-7656. Toll free 800-506-8810. He services the entire Southwest. This is a free consultation to you. He is your senior's advocate. Let me say this. It's a Medicare day every day.
Any day's a Medicare day.
Yep. Any day. And someone turns 65 every day of the year.
Every day.
How
Multiple
many?
people.
Multiple
Over
people.
4,000 a month here in northern Arizona.
So we're going to go to a break. Hi, to everybody out there. Woohoo! We've got Michael Henderson in the house here, and we're going to go to break. When we come back, we're going to talk further because you know what? People need to understand Medicare 101.
Yeah.
Hang tight. We'll be back in just a minute.
We should be done now. That was
it.
it.
So much fun.
That was
so
it.
now
We're good.
we're going to keep on going because we're still live on Facebook, and so we're just going to talk a little bit more here. When you work with your clients, you know, sometimes you have stories that you like to tell us. Is there anybody recently with especially with COVID, you know? And that's the question. Does anyone have a question of, you know, I had COVID. Can I still get Medicare? I mean, does things like that have
sure.
what kind of questions do you get asked about that?
Yeah, we always get asked about pre-existing conditions, you know, if that impacts getting onto a plan, and it depends on what we're talking about. But in general, Advantage plans don't have medical questions at all, and a supplement the medical questions only pertain if it's 6 months after your Medicare effective date. So, and prior to that 6-month date, it's guaranteed issue on a supplement as well. So.
Right now, with you know, I know that you have seasons, right? And there's different time periods within those seasons that they can do certain things. Right now, is there anything that they can do or should do before a certain amount of time, or do they have a little time now before the next enrollment session, or where they can change plans or anything like that?
Well, there are enrollment enrollment guidelines. So annual enrollment is October 15th through December 7th. After January 1st starts open enrollment, which is January 1st through March 31st.
So we still have that?
Yeah, we're not allowed to advertise that, but it is an enrollment period. And then the rest of the year it's special elections. So if somebody moves here from out of state or another county, somebody that's low income has a special election period. There's lots of different election periods. Oh, if they lose their group coverage, let's say somebody's retiring.
Right, a lot of people.
And they're, you know.
There's always a reason to call. There's somebody's moving in.
That's why any day's a Medicare day.
Any day.
Even though Medicare season is, quote unquote,
they
October
always
15th
think that it's just in October, but it's really not.
Yeah, it's not. We do 60% of our enrollments the rest of the year. Are we back on?
What?
I didn't know if we were going back on. You put your headsets on.
Yes.
You fooled me. I thought I had to be ready.
They're talking about pee-pee problems.
What? What did you say?
It's incontinence.
Oh. But I hear what they were saying. All right. We got more to talk about. We could and we're also, you know, if there's somebody that's licensed or that has the desire to help people, you know, we always are looking to bring on agents that are excited about the community, that want to help the community. That's what we're all about. So.
Ted Watkins.
Ted.
Listen to that review.
That's amazing.
We're back.
Welcome back, everyone. We have Michael Henderson in the house. Woohoo! And, you know, Michael loves to make things fun, and Medicare is a questions that people always have, and it's nice to have somebody like you that has experience, that can help people through this, I guess, maze, if you want to talk about it, because there's a lot of different things you need to know about. Michael,
it's all about Medicare,
but there's a lot of questions with that. He services the entire Southwest. He is your seniors advocate, and he helps people, and he loves what he does. That is what I know for sure, and you're all about service.
Yep, this is I fell in love with this industry after my very first appointment, which I told you that story on a few shows ago. But it's something that you've got to love helping people, right? And you got to love helping the community, and that is the joy from it. We get to pay our bills as a sideline, of course, which is we have to do that to stay alive. But we are able to help the community in ways that is so needed. It's very underserved. It's amazing how many people don't understand Medicare, that that need help with it. It's just amazing, and it's so much fun to help. So, yeah.
So when they call you, please leave a message. Let's understand that if you don't leave a message, he can't call you back. And phone number is 602-541-7656. Toll free, it's 800-506-8810. One question that we were asking, and I want you to be able to talk about it as long as I can. But we were talking during the break, because we do talk with Facebook while we're on the break, because we're live here. So what I asked you is, do you get a lot of questions with people with this COVID, that now some people might have had it? People are fearful of that maybe they won't get covered.
Yeah, we get questions like that all the time. But yes, people are fearful of, one, if they had COVID and now they're trying to get into Medicare, maybe they're aging in the next couple months or something like that. Is that going to impact it? Because everybody always hears about medical questions in insurance, and so we get that. We also get if COVID stuff is covered on Medicare and that kind of thing. But yeah, so when you're going on to Medicare, in an Advantage plan, there's no medical questions. So you could be in the middle of cancer treatments or something like that. There's no medical questions. And every year when you change during that annual enrollment period we talked about, October 15th through December 7th, you could change Advantage plans, and there's no questions either. Medicare Supplements, a little bit different. The first 6 months that you go on to Medicare, you have what's called guaranteed issue. There's no medical questions in the first 6 months of being on Medicare for a Medicare Supplement. After 6 months, there can be medical questions on a Medicare Supplement. So that, if they specifically wanted a Medicare Supplement, that may be an issue if they've been on
right
Medicare.
there, that's confusing.
It is confusing,
right?
Yeah.
And that's why you need to talk to Michael.
And it's not, and it's hard to explain in a 30-minute segment on the radio, because there's different scenarios. They may have guaranteed issue even on a supplement, but there's specific scenarios.
And that's where you come in.
Yeah.
That's where you look into. Everybody has a story. I think that's another thing too. Each individual.
Every situation is different. You're retiring from your from employer group insurance. Maybe you're retiring and just ready to go have some fun, go golf or whatever. You got to look at that Medicare option. You got to look at what you're going to need to keep that coverage. A lot of people, again, don't understand it because they've never had to really look into medical insurance. And
some people even have lost their jobs. I mean, that's kind of scary too.
Yeah.
Right? Because especially during COVID.
Sure. We've got a lot of 65 and over folks that were still working when COVID started, and they got furloughed, laid off, whatever, because of COVID. And they just said, heck with it, I'm just going to go ahead and retire a little bit before I thought I was going to. So we've seen an influx of people going on to Medicare that weren't planning on it necessarily, but it's time to do it.
And like we said earlier today, every day is a Medicare day. Every day. It's great to get yourself, especially if you're just going to be turning 65. Yep. You need to make sure that you do this in advance. Don't wait and don't procrastinate, which we all know you do.
Yeah, we can start working on a lot of these plans. We can actually do an enrollment for 90 days out from a Medicare effective date. So if somebody's effective date is the 1st of July or something like that, we can start doing their enrollment stuff for a plan 90 days before that. So, and their Medicare card will usually come. Now, not always. We're dealing with the government and we're dealing with mail and all that stuff. But usually they'll see their card come in about that 90-day period as well, their red, white, and blue Medicare card. So they want to keep an eye out for that. And again, it's that flimsy paper card like.
Well, you know what? If you want it laminated,
come to the office.
Into the office, he'll laminate it for you.
Yeah.
Some of the things that you also do that people, when you don't think about, I think people are worried about their doctors. Yep. Are there doctors in network?
And that's one thing we check out, along with things like their prescriptions, like we talked about earlier. On an Advantage plan, those are network-based, just like your employer group plan. They're PPOs or HMOs, and those have doctor networks. They're very comprehensive here in Maricopa County. But we do want to check and make sure that the plan you're choosing or the plan you like has your doctors or doctors that you want in the plan. So we look all that up. We help navigate that as well. If your doctor, your primary care doctor wants you to see a specialist, we want to we help to make sure that doctor's in network as well. Yeah, so we work with all that umbrella of stuff. I mean, there's so much.
There just is so much. You can go on and on. So, but he does help and service the entire Southwest. And what he likes to do is he likes to make sure he talks to every single person. So even if he doesn't answer the phone because he might be busy, he does call everybody back, leave a message, because those are the rules in Medicare. If you don't leave a message, he can't call you back.
Yeah, and you know what? We talked about election periods a little bit, and I don't know if we talked about this on the first half, but there's a lot of people moving into Arizona right now. And if you're 65 and over moving into Arizona, we need to talk, because your plan that you had in another state may or may not be the best one for here. The rates may change if you're on a supplement, but if you're on an Advantage plan in another state, we need to change it to an Arizona one for you. Things like that too, and that's an election period. We can do that any time of the year. If you move this month, we can do it now. So.
Well, let me just tell you this. I say this a lot on my show, and I think my phone's going off here. But honestly, this is what I say, and I know when I say it, it sounds kind of like I'm patting myself on my back, but I love my show because of the information that it gives for everybody out there. Thank you. And you know what, also, too, the people that listen that are out of state, right, that they have their parents that are moving here, they can call you and say, hey, my mom is moving into the Southwest area. Yeah. And they can talk to you. And this is important information for people out there. And why do people come back? Well, first of all, because they like me, but no, but really because it gives you that opportunity to be able to reach out people that can hear you and get that information out there.
That's part of that community service that I talked about that we like to do. You know, for me, it's about getting the information out there. We want you to call us with your questions about Medicare. More than that, I want you to be educated, so at least you know that you have choices. You know, if you've talked to somebody out there that may only represent one carrier or something like that, I just want you to know you have choices, so you don't have to feel stuck. And that if I accomplish that on the radio, that's fine. You know, it's about community service. It's about getting the information out there.
So give him a call. His phone number is 602-541-7656, toll-free 800-506-8810. And his website is tapestryinsuranceGroup.com. This is a free service to you out there. When we talked a little bit about people who ask other people, and you know, it's very important. I think that's where a lot of people make a big mistake.
Well, you know, we all trust our friends and neighbors, and that there's nothing wrong with that. You know, your friend or your neighbor or family member may be on a specific plan, but that may be for a reason. Maybe they have a condition that they're on that plan, or their prescriptions, maybe they're on a long list of prescriptions or a very short list, and you're on a long list, you know. So we want to tailor it again to the person. Remember, there's lots of plans out there, 57 or more here in Maricopa County alone. So
is it a good idea for people who, let's say, are sitting here thinking, gosh, I wonder if I have the right plan? Can they call you and talk to you and say, hey, this is what I have, and you could say to them, well, this was good or this wasn't, and maybe, I don't know if you could change it now, but maybe for going forward, how does that work?
There's never a bad time to call. So we just had this happen with one of the agents actually here in Maricopa County last week.
Amazing what I can find.
Look at that question.
Amazing.
And this agent, she called me and she said, hey, I have a client that's this, and this, and turns out we couldn't change it right now because they didn't have a valid election period for their situation. But that person now knows that there is a better plan than what they're on now, and they can change during annual enrollment coming up. Now, that could have just as easily have been that they had an election period, so there's no better time to call than the present, because worst case scenario, we have to put it off for a few months. Maybe not.
But guess what? When you see that there's like, oh my God, I will be paying less money, that's awesome, and that's where they come in. He services the entire Southwest. What are your final words to everybody out there?
Woohoo!
I love Michael Henderson. He's so much fun, and he makes a complicated subject. Not only does he make it more understandable for everybody out there, but he also makes it a lot of fun. So
do
give
this.
him a call. His phone number is 602-541-7656. He services the entire Southwest. Leave a message because he can't call you back if you don't. That toll-free number is 800-506-8810. This is a free service to you, the people out there, and his website is tapestryinsuranceGroup.com. Woohoo!
Have a good one.